Being grateful or not, the real question of today. Here's my story, cut short. I met my wife 10 years ago. We were married 9 years ago. We have 3 wonderful children aged 5 and twins who are 2, all boys. It was love at first sight. From the day I met her, I never fell out of love with her for a second. We have been through a lot together over the years, and I felt we were as close as a couple could be. Over the past 8 months, things started to change. She became extraordinarily obsessed with her appearance. She's a stunningly beautiful woman, just turned 33, and is very fit and healthy. Her obsession with gym was becoming a problem because she was spending a great deal of time there. She's always found it hard to make friends, but she had made some really great friends there, so that was a good thing. But it took over to the point she wouldn't miss gym for anything. I noticed she'd become quite fond of the owner of the gym and her husband. She was actually getting a little competitive with the owner and compared herself with her a lot. I thought nothing of it really, but then I started to notice she was spending lots of time with the husband. We talked about it, and I was starting to feel like something was going on. Lots of phone calls and messages, etc. Then she put the lock on the phone, and it was always on silent. Cutting a long story short, in December, I discovered she'd been having an IA with him for at least 4 months, which turned into a PI. I was shocked, and my whole world, as most of you know how this feels, completely came to a standstill. My initial reaction was anger, and I asked her to stop seeing him at once. She didn't want to. I think that hurt me more than the affair itself. She said she was confused and didn't know what or who she wanted anymore. I've spent the past 2 months dissecting our relationship. I know I've been busy with work, and the kids have been a handful. But she hasn't had to work, and I've given her a great lifestyle where she doesn't have to worry about money and hasn't had to work. Although she's very smart, and I think just simply got bored, and I do know she loves attention. She won't go to MC with me and spends every spare waking moment with him. I moved out in January, and I come home 3 days a week to look after the kids. She disappears for those days and is with him. And when she's with the kids, she gets in babysitters most nights and they go out for dinners or whatever. She even has the kids in full-time daycare now. The sad part for her is, she lost all of her friends, as they were all also friends with his wife. So really, she has him and her mother, who is supporting her decisions, to talk to. I've been trying to wait things out and started a 180. She gives me hope sometimes, and we spend hours talking where she seems like she misses me and our life, but she says her feelings for him are very strong also. I've been on an emotional roller coaster. I've told her I'd forgive her and work on us with an MC and never hold this against her. I just get the feeling she strings me along, so I keep supporting her financially. She spends a lot of money on herself. I discovered that she has gone on a trip with him this week, after she promised it was with a girlfriend. It made me sick. I paid for the entire thing. That's where I got mad. Finally, I hit anger. So, I've cut her off completely, except for paying all of the house, car, bills, food, but not a single cent for her to go on spending sprees. This made her very angry. She never used to be like this. It's like she's a completely different person. I know all about affair fog. She's been so cruel, but I still love her. I just can't stop. Do they, women, ever come back? Or is it always when it's too late and you move on? I wake up some days thinking today is the beginning of my new life. But I know deep down, I'm just kidding myself and I really want to reconcile. She says no right now. But is that just the fog speaking? Comments: you seem like a very patient guy who's willing to wait and do whatever it takes. Her affair with this new guy will eventually run its course. Sooner if you force her into reality. Get her to move in with this guy. She has that very intense in love feeling with this guy. That feeling lasts 2-3 years, tops. After that, she likely will stay with him for another few years until she comes to the realization that she is not in love with him anymore. At that point, she may reminisce about you and all the good times you had and contact you, and cheat on him with you. So, on your present course of being patient, waiting, pining, and hoping, you may have her back in 6-7 years. If she doesn't find some other guy to fall in love with when she's done with this one, what may work sooner is if you stop being so available to reconcile. In her mind, she might as well pursue this affair, because you are not going anywhere anyway. She knows when she's done with her affair, you will be there. So why should she end it while she's still having so much fun? Plus, if she reconciled with you, this other guy probably wouldn't be so understanding as you are, and he would just move on and forget about her. Not tell her he was willing to wait it out like you. So, putting you on hold really is the smart play for her at this point. What are your thoughts on being available to reconcile? Do you think it shows her how much you love her and she will come to her senses? What are your thoughts on telling her that she has one day to come back and work on your marriage, or you will file for divorce and go through with it, and, if she wants to reconcile, she can try to win you back after the divorce? Have you thought about taking a harder line against the affair? The soft approach doesn't seem to have worked very well. OP responds: I deeply would like to reconcile with her, yes, but I have started to think about how I'd feel moving on and finding someone who would love me and never do this to me. I guess I've been soft because I know her, and I know that being hard on her would actually push her away more. She's a little more complicated than any woman I've known before. Very poor self-esteem from things that happened to her when she was young. I do love her, and I would be able to forgive her. But maybe you're right. Maybe she really has just turned the switch off on us and will never look back. When I have spoken to her about her affair, she does spend a lot of time putting him down to me, complaining about him and his personality, and compares him to me a lot. This confuses the hell out of me. I do know her actions are 100% beyond my control. I can only control what I do. I want to move on, but I don't. I don't want to meet someone and then her come back. I know I'd want to reconcile, which would then mean I'd be breaking someone else's heart. Does it happen? Do they ever really come back? Or am I dreaming about something that just isn't going to happen? I have actually turned a corner since this little getaway of hers with him. The days leading up to her leaving, she was starting to talk about making a big mistake and being so sorry, and telling me how wonderful I am, and assured me she was seeing a girlfriend. The minute I found out about her lying to me about going away with him, I really switched from being so confused and sad to anguish. I've emptied the accounts as far as I can, which she reacted to not so well. Also, I've ignored all of her texts and phone calls, unless they are about the kids. Tonight, she just texted me telling how sorry she is for everything and how she's such a bad person and I don't deserve it. I'm ignoring this stuff completely. I hope I'm doing the right thing. I know she's mentally in a bad place at the moment. I did vow sickness and health. I feel like this is all a sickness. I don't know. It's just going on, and the deceit has been as bad as I could ever have imagined possible from her. They have been fully exposed to everyone. They don't seem to care, which is quite sad. I'd file for divorce, but I can't here in Australia. You have to be separated for 12 months before you can do that. Is there anything else apart from what I'm doing? Little contact, restricting finances. To help clear her head, I really feel like I'm starting to move in the right direction. I never ever thought this stuff would ever happen to my marriage. I guess I didn't really ever think about it and didn't know how to react or how to handle the situation. But I think toughening up is certainly the right way to go from what you all say. Trust me when I say I'm not usually a pushover. I'm quite strong in most ways, but I felt I was doing the right thing for not just trying to save what I felt was worth saving, but for my kids too. I'm not from a broken home, and I could never have imagined my little guys growing up without a loving mom and dad together. But this is a reality I now face. His wife does know about it all, and they are separating. From what I know, their marriage was over for a while. They just live together for convenience. He's also a co-owner of the gyms. I'm not sure how financially secure he is, but I'm about to find out. She no longer has access to her black card, and I have shifted everything away from her to ensure she can't just go crazy like she used to on spending. I would never want her to come back for the lifestyle. I would only want her to come back because she genuinely missed me and the kids. I will be moving home again as soon as my short-term lease runs out on my apartment. Although we're sharing our home now anyway, I will kick her out as she's the one who's checked out on us. And I'll live here full-time. I only moved out originally because I felt if I gave her space, she might have time to think about things. But she just uses all of that time to run around with him. One of the things I'll definitely be cutting will be daycare. There's no reason at all for her to have it. She is a mom and does not work. So, there's no reason. I know that will hurt, and I want the kids to be at home if they can, not with strangers looking after them. I had some messages from her tonight. She's about to return from her trip. Hey, how are you doing with the kids? I ignored that. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I'm a piece of crap. I ignored it, then tried to call a few times. Are you going to ignore my calls all week? It's okay, I would too. I ignored that as well. Tried to call a few more times. I finally just wrote back, I have nothing to say to you. Honestly, I actually really don't have anything to say to her anymore. I think this final betrayal where she was supposed to go away and actually think about things and spend the whole time with OM instead really sealed the deal for me. Today has been another good day for me. She's back and started calling and texting me. I've managed to completely ignore her. She does know that if she asks me anything about the kids, I will always reply. So, she started asking stupid little questions to at least get a reaction from me. So, I wrote her an email in point form of everything she needed to know about the kids while she was away. That way she wouldn't need to contact me again until I go back to see them early next week. I would kick her out except for one reason only, and that is I feel the kids need at least a stable place to live. They do need their mom, even if she's not there all day with them, but they do need to be with her. And they do need to be with me. For now, I would like to keep them in their home they know. That is why we are sharing the place. While I am getting my affairs in order, I'll keep it this way, maybe for a couple of more months. Then when I've sorted everything out and I'm protected legally and everything is in order, I'll ask her to leave. We have registered the fact that we are properly separated now. She did that before I even thought of it actually. I'm sure there was something, like some kind of welfare payment, in it for her. Otherwise she wouldn't have done it. I hate seeing her name on my phone every time she messages me. I feel sick wondering if it's a nasty message, or something to get some kind of reaction out of me, just trying to take it one day at a time. When we were all together, I used to think of the chores after coming home from work and having to bath, feed. Now I look at it as spending time with them. I really do love them dearly. It's funny, as soon as I started cutting things off, she abused me saying I was being controlling and said it just makes her know she's doing the right thing. I've never, ever been controlling in any way, shape, or form. I have shortcomings, but I've never been abusive or controlling. She just texted me again accusing me of spreading rumors about her, which I did not do. I couldn't help it. I finally bit. Short and sweet. I called and angrily stated I haven't told anyone about her little getaway, and she's paranoid and to leave me alone. I shouldn't have, but she's really pushing my buttons. Why can't she just let me be? I have canceled her cards. I have emptied the accounts to the point she'd have enough for food and basics for a couple of weeks. I've also started paying things, today, directly. I will go completely dark for another week to scare her a little more. Then I'll write her a letter with how I'd like things to be moving forward. I'm sure there will be a massive tantrum, but I really don't care. I'm angry. Finally, I'm angry. I have started looking at her like a horrible demon of a person, rather than having her up on a pedestal thinking of her like she was the day we married. Oh my God, she was an amazing woman back then. I loved her with all my heart, but the reality is she is now a completely different person. I have to keep reminding myself of this. Tonight was hard. Tomorrow, being Valentine's Day, will be particularly difficult, and the following day will be our wedding anniversary. So, 2 days of pain. I'm pretty sure she'll be running around with him and not thinking about me, so I'll have to really keep occupied. Anyone know of good ideas to keep your mind busy during times like that? I started going to gym about 18 months ago as well to try to keep myself looking okay for her. I haven't stopped and go daily, although since I discovered the affair, I have really stopped eating and lost a lot of the hard work I'd put in, but I do keep up the exercise. It is a little bit of a trigger, but I put my music on my phone and work through the sadness. I really don't want her having it easy. I think if anything, she'd love to have this place and get away from life. I really want him paying for her life now, or for her to pay her own way. I have been trying to nice her back. I've been firm on most things, but as you said, there are things that lead them to do this. And I guess I just tried to love her and see her through whatever it is that she's going through. She's incredibly vain, beautiful, smart, but has extremely low self-confidence. She's been that way since I met her due to things that have happened to her during her upbringing. Her family is probably the biggest part of her problems. But yeah, that approach was getting me the textbook responses everyone talks of. After her little getaway with OM and the other things I've discovered, I realize how bad things really are. So, moving on is the best thing I can do. And for the first time, I'm really honestly starting to feel better in myself. My heart is still in my stomach all day, and there are plenty of triggers that constantly remind me of what's happening. But I'm slowly feeling better about there being light at the end of the tunnel, which is going to be a happy me and happy kids one day. Next is sorting out how to divide everything up. That will stir some serious fighting. The car she drives actually belongs to my company. I'm thinking about taking it back and getting her something really cheap, but safe. She still needs to get around with our kids, but she's driving around in luxury at the moment. So that will be the first battle. I think I'll just tackle everything one thing at a time. The only reason to stop me from doing that would be because she does need something to get the kids to school and around. I know for certain she wouldn't be able to organize anything 100% only for them. Oh yeah, just got a text from her. Happy Valentine's Day. Remember how special you are. I made me sick. I'll start with the car and give her notice about moving out. He's still living under the same roof as his wife, but I think he's planning on moving out very soon. Maybe this will force him to move out and they can just go shack up together. I do know legally, if I really want her to go, and she doesn't want to, she doesn't have to, but I can just move back in and make it uncomfortable for her, which in turn will make her leave. That message is annoying to me. Is ignorance really the best policy here? Doing my head in. It's so hard to believe that only a few months ago her writing me a message would still bring a smile to my face and I'd never, ever dream of ignoring it. Especially Valentine's Day. I actually don't think he's done anything like this before. He really seems to be very weak. His wife is a very strong woman, and she really controlled their relationship. My wife, on the other hand, likes very much to be looked after. When it all first came to a head, she used to tell me his flaws and how she didn't realistically see a future with him, but couldn't help her feelings. She said many emasculating things about him to me. She's also said she's worried that he's not a protector or a provider, and that he's very immature. Despite all of these things, she still couldn't help wanting to try things with him. It's a killer because she couldn't even tell me what was wrong with me. She just said she loves me but is not in love with me anymore. Very upsetting. When I did speak to him, as I knew him, he was very apologetic and said he knew what he's doing is wrong, but he loves her. I just wanted to break every bone in his body. I can see they're both in a crazy fog, but that doesn't help anything. Since all of that, she's told me that he's become extremely possessive of her and has actually been stalking her a bit to see if she's been seeing me. We have met quite a few times for coffee to talk about things, and he knew about all of them, which spooked her so much she stopped wanting to see me at all for a little while there. I just don't get it. I just got caught off guard on chat. She started on me saying she needs to talk to me about things. I couldn't help myself and said I really don't want to hear anything she has to say right now and that I'd contact her when I want to talk, which will be when I've thought it all out and have a proper action plan. She said that OM is moving out into a new place with his cousin, and that she is 100% not moving in with him. I restrained myself from saying that she should, but I thought I'd wait until I have my own plans ready. She has it in her head that I've met someone, and that I'm sleeping with them. I didn't confirm or deny. Of course there isn't anyone, but she's going mental about it. Said it's breaking her heart into a million pieces and that she has images of me making love to another girl in her head. What the duck? Is she really mental? I hated chatting, even though it was only for a few minutes. It really ruined my day. I feel absolutely rotten. I feel sick. I miss her so much. I know the girl I knew is gone forever, or has she just gone on a break? I've been with the NC until those few chat messages. She never says what she needs to talk about, except that it's important, and I worry it's about the kids. I'll just keep ignoring her again now. I will see the lawyer again next week to make sure what I'm doing with funds in the car is perfectly legal. Then I'll talk to her and make my moves. So how she reacted about money. Initially, she got very angry and said I was being controlling. Kept using the word controlling. Then started to say that I will enjoy my life controlling and alone. Really gave me a hard time. It comes up a lot and she's very angry. It seems to be the one thing that makes her angry. I know she's siphoned money off for a while into another account I've never seen before. I think she'll probably be using that for now, but when that dries up, which will be quick at her burn rate, she'll really start getting nasty. I guess time will tell. I know I shouldn't want her back. Today is our wedding anniversary, and I'm feeling okay. I'm just trying to keep myself busy. My feelings are getting numb towards her more and more each day. I guess I've learned to accept that she's no longer that amazing girl I fell in love with, but a selfish, heartless fool. The only emotion I have for now is kind of pity. I feel like she's going to wake up one day and feel the pain I've felt. Who knows? Maybe not, but she'll never be happy. She's so unhappy in herself that she will never find it in anyone else. I accepted that and always wanted to work on that with her where I could, and always encouraged her to do things for herself, including seeing a psychologist, but she never would. Deep down, I'd love to have the girl I knew back. Absolutely. I loved her with all of my heart and soul, but this new person, I don't care for at all. Unfortunately, I can't file for divorce for 12 months here. The NC is killing me. I don't have anything to say, but I really want to say something back to her. I guess it's just part of the process of letting go. Having a downer right now. Memories are starting to flood back from our wedding day, and for the first time in weeks I'm choking up a bit and can't function. As much as I act towards her that I'm moving on and don't care, instead my heart is still open for her. I'm just ignoring her. I don't know if that's worse though. I wonder if she thinks me being so quiet is because I'm sulking. Actually, who cares what she thinks? That's what I have to keep remembering. I guess what I'm wondering is what the hell goes on in her head. Why keep putting him down to me and telling me how great I am, but still wanting to see how things go with him? It's completely irrational. I know she's cake eating. I just don't know how things got to here. We were so close and loving. It's when I think back to before all of this, when it gets really hard. I miss us. Sorry I am babbling, but today is a really hard day for me. I just want it to be over. I'm going out with some friends tonight, so we'll drink the night away and have a great time. Then tomorrow will be a new day. I haven't heard a word all weekend. I'm feeling good. I haven't had the urge to talk to at all either. I didn't speak to her all weekend. Until this morning I had to ask about the school holidays over Easter because I want to plan a trip. And I know she wanted to take the kids to her hometown for a week. So, I was confirming dates with her. She won't tell me the dates. So immature. I just said, really? You're going to make me beg to know when you're taking my children to another state? To which she replied, you're going to make me beg to know where my husband will be. My answer to that, and this is where the conversation ended, was I'm not your husband anymore. She's going crazy. I don't think I need to prevent her from taking them on a trip to see her family. I don't think we're at that point yet. And the kids do love their cousins. I think she's just using anything she can to hold on to control maybe. I haven't moved back home just yet. Still lining everything up. It will be over the next few weeks. My comment, do not talk to her. Let your lawyer handle it. Be impersonal with her. Treat her like you would treat a hostile business deal. And stop being so nice for God's sake. All your wife keeps doing is lying to you, cheating on you and using you, your assets, your children, and your good nature against you. It is time to turn the tables and make her understand you are no longer the nice guy she knew. Treat her like the piece of crap she is. Treat her the way she has treated you. Whether you reconcile or not, she needs to learn a lesson. So, teach it to her even if it costs you your marriage. Because you should reconcile with the woman she is now. Focus on you, and deal with the situation. Glad to see you finally found your anger. Now use it. Story 2. I am in pain and I need help. I can't breathe properly. My heart is pounding slowly but hard. I can't believe it really happened. I'm in denial, and yet I know it is done, and I am trying to plan a way out because I don't know what else to focus on. We could never communicate. From the very beginning, we both found it difficult to really be ourselves, but our love for each other was intense and passionate. We had difficulties with almost everything. I'm 30, been married for 8 years, known him for 12. We sold our house in July and planned to live with the in-laws for about 2 months because we planned to move halfway around the world. I stopped working in July to prepare for everything. Husband worked from home and needed to take a course in February, so we had to stay here longer. But the in-laws were horrible to live with and things just fell apart. He is my first true love. I can see my mistakes but he is right. We just couldn't get along. A lot of it had to do with external factors that I wished we could have worked on. I had no idea how upset he was and that he had been contemplating divorce. I feel cheated because he has been talking to people for 2 years about our marriage. I had no idea. And yet he never explained things to me in a calm setting. I loved him and thought things were good overall. We just needed to iron out the kinks. I'm just another heartbroken individual going through a separation. We have no children and it looks like the divorce will be uncomplicated. However, I will still need to figure out a life of my own, but I'm still in denial. Is anyone leaning on religion to get them through this? Is anyone Muslim here? I'm Muslim but don't know anywhere I live and really need to talk without avoiding my faith because it's going to play such a momentous role in my recovery. Our divorce was Islamic and none of my friends can really understand that we will still need to divorce legally. I want certain things for myself from a religious perspective, but no one really gets it and it's making me feel so much more isolated. I can't imagine a life without him. It was so out of the blue. My veins feel tight and I'm tingling all over. I want this awful feeling to go away and I just want my husband back. I'm just mad at him today, not openly though. It'll be a week tomorrow and I'm beat. I almost feel as though I've recovered because I'm ready to give up loving him if it means an end to these messed up emotions. I wonder how I'll feel tomorrow. I know, a heartbroken mess. I've got a lot to change, but I'm feeling positive about my future. I'm emotionally spent. Chin up everybody and keep moving forward. He says he was never happy except for a year. He has such a negative opinion of our marriage that it just leaves me baffled. He had been talking to people about our miserable marriage. But we did have so many good times. Why didn't I realize things were bad? I feel like the trigger for him to start his new life. He likes to make big changes and he's been telling me his worries about his finances and his future marriage prospects. That really twisted the knife. He only told me so I would realize that all hope was lost. He may remarry me when we are 90, or, if nothing works out for him in the next few years. At least he's being honest. A small part of me wants to wait for him forever and hope against all odds that he'll take me back, but I don't want to see him suffer and I don't want him to settle for me. I also believe that I deserve better. I can't help but blame myself. I know he has a short fuse. I know that if the slightest thing went wrong, traffic light not changing fast enough, he could freak out. I feel like he's talking about his faults and I know he had his fair share, but I still can't help but blame myself entirely. It would be easier if I hated him. I'm so regretful, ridden with guilt. I'm so sorry to him for not being the wife that he so desperately wanted his whole life. Yeah, he had his flaws, but he was always loving towards me. I just wish I had known how bad it had gotten for him. He doesn't want me. I'll take things one day, episode at a time. But it's so many firsts of doing things alone without him. This whole province reminds me of him. Time to make new memories. I'm trying to rush this process, but it's not working, so I'm just going to let it wash over me. Yes, he's been rewriting history for years now. I feel cheated. At least he can tell a whole bunch of people who don't know me how miserable the marriage was. Garner sympathy. Network and then get help with his new life. I'm bitter. He doesn't want his parents to know, because they know me and they knew our relationship. I'm beginning to realize that there's a healthy balance when it comes to the blame in my situation. I've been idealizing him but have got to stop doing that now. We're going our separate ways in February. We haven't done anything from a legal standpoint as of yet. I'm not sure how the divorce will work out if we're in different countries, but I don't really care right now. I have yet to decide what I'll be doing. I'm not ready to think about that either, and I definitely don't want to follow him and try to live out our dream alone. I always had a secret fear that he might just toss me to the side one day and never look back, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's trying to be nice, but I think that's as much for his ego as it is for my benefit. He knew exactly what I was like when he first met me. He made promises to me and he's broke them. I would have found a way to make this marriage work, but he gave up on it. He was always proud to say that he wasn't a quitter, but he sure quit on our marriage. One day I hope he remembers what our marriage was really like and how we had so many good times. I wish I didn't care, and the sad thing is that he probably won't ever realize because he's not the type to look back. A few days ago, I told everyone about our divorce. My family and the rest of my friends were supportive, but his were devastated. It was exhausting. I don't want to get into details, but I am offering him help. Help that I can give now and help anytime down the road. His own family don't give a damn about him, and I can't help but feel sorry for him, so I'm willing to do what it takes for him to be okay during this transition. However, he is good-looking, unique, a seasoned traveler, explorer, all very romantic and appealing. He was also incredibly affectionate but irritable and sensitive. I don't think he'll have a problem finding someone else, someone better than me and someone who he will have kids with. It makes me sick to my stomach. I was only worth 7 years to him. My worth ran out. If he hadn't thought he could do better than me, then surely he would have stayed. I wouldn't want that, I lie. But he did think he could do better. He knew me better than anyone and he gave up on me. How can this be good for me? How can a person get over feeling like they weren't enough? No amount of IC or reflection can hide the truth. Am I supposed to go on an endless search to find someone who does think I'm worthy? That just irks me. I want to run away from everything. I'll heal and I'll forget the things without him there to remind me of what I don't have anymore. I might even find someone again and experience a happier relationship. But there will always be that scar and no one will know exactly what we had, and my memories will be lonely ones. He moves out on Monday, then we plan to meet so we can file together, and after that I may never see him again. My comment: is there someone in your life that you never see again? Tell me down below, because I have someone like that in my life as well. Subscribe cause I got more videos coming tomorrow.